What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Matreiuss. His opponent today in the red color playing as Oranos. You might not know him. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the... Oh, I think I've played against him, but he's just going to be the first game I've cast of Mr. Jin Seon on the YouTubes. He's actually a really strong Oranos player, has a fairly unique style of Oranos. I'm excited to see how he's going to go up against Matreiuss's Zeus on this Savannah game, starting with the one Rhinoceros here. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see how things are going to go as Matreiuss. Don't get to see Zeus all too often. Zeus, definitely one of the stronger Greeks out there, or stronger gods out there. Currently, not a whole lot of bad matchups at all, and always has an opportunity to win a game in a sense. And I think a lot of people, especially the top players, agree that Zeus is one of the terrifying forces, the terrifying presences to be facing on the Vubli ladder. So we'll see how things are going to go. I believe Matreiuss is actually in the chat right now, so I'm going to give him a little bit of tips here because I just love this. So one thing you want to be doing with Zeus is you only really want to put one villager on gold. Get this villager on gold really early so that you can get your temple down and not need to overdo it on the gold. Unless you really want to get yourself out an early archaic hero, in which case 2 villagers on the gold is fine. The other thing you might want to consider is put yourself villagers on wood much earlier so you can start sending the villagers over onto hunt here. One thing I probably would have done is killed the rhino and left 2 or 3 villagers on the wood, on the food here, built a mining camp here and started to get my wood income so that I could send my villagers over to this hunt nice and early, and be in a much better position in the early game. So you can play around a lot of kind of weaker spawns or difficult spawns without having a slower advance time. Oranos players, on the other hand, one thing that you need to remember when you have these sorts of rhino spawns is your villagers, they're going to have to walk quite a bit. So the big important thing to do for your economy is ensure you don't over chop wood or gold. You want exactly 100 gold. You want exactly 125 wood by the time you're going to be making that next village, that last villager out. And we see exactly that happen here for Mr. Jin Seon as he's going to be moving those villagers over onto this hunt here. The other thing you can do is send the villagers over here onto the goat. The temple should come down immediately here for Jin Seon, and he should be able to get himself a fairly clean 430 advance as he does throw that temple down. Just a little bit late, no problems, in all honesty. So we'll see how Matreiuss is going to go here. We are seeing the temple coming up. He does have the resources to get himself out an immediate second hero here. So we'll see if he wants to do that. These villagers are going to be very much out of position on this location. So an early hero here, most likely going to be a fairly good option to go for as the temple will come down. And I imagine, yeah, he's going to cut that, get that hero out. But the thing is that this is going to delay his classical age considerably here, I would assume. I mean, he's going to be close. He's just force dropped all of his villagers here. A little bit of a problem where that's concerned, and he's going to be cutting that advance time pretty badly there. But we'll see how he's going to be able to, how much value he's going to be able to get out of that early hero, as Prometheus is a fairly clean advance here from Jin Seon, as he's maybe 1 second behind or something like that. Absolutely fine. This location is very open here, and one thing that he needs to be doing is sending oracles back to defend. You can manually heroize the oracle to defend. You can use Valor on your oracles to defend. Lots of different options. We do see the mana coming down as Matreiuss's Jason is inbound here to get some good damage done. Jin Seon, we'll see what sort of a build he's going to go. Is he going to go straight for, or is he building some more Deuterinos? There's the Oracle hero coming over to defend. We have actually seen this from, I believe, Redo. At least I've seen this from Redo. What Redo does is he gets against this early hero, he gets the Oracle hero and he gets the Citizen, and he just shanks down the Jason next to the Citizen, so that basically the Jason doesn't do a whole lot. And after all is said and done, Matreiuss's Jason here is forced out an Oracle hero, and that's about it. As we do see more Citizen coming through here. Matreiuss on the other side of the spectrum here. He's getting himself out the Odysseus. He's starting the Sylvan Law. He's sending his Centaur down to this position. This is interesting. He's obviously concerned about some early Promethean offspring coming through. So maybe he's going to be trying to defend this, or he's trying to sneak through up onto this location. Not 100% sure, but a little bit of damage going to come through here. Oh, actually a little bit of defense going to come through here as the Promethean offspring. Not going to get killed off there by the Centaur, but does take a big amount of damage from that special attack, as we starting to see the military units pumping out here for Jin Seon, as the Jason and the Odysseus starting to move forward. Relics on the map here that haven't been picked up. The Flagstone of Buhen, not the best of relics there, with the cheaper walls there, and the Scales of Cthulhu. Both relics a little bit underwhelming, so to speak, there, with extra mid-unit cross vulnerability. Not really worth picking up unless you're going into a Titan fight or something like that, but even then it's not the biggest of deals. As Jin Seon, he's looking to hit this raid here. Matreiuss has already left this position nicely. This is a fairly standard Oranos strategy. They just go, no worries about defending myself. I've got the manners. I've got all the defense over here. No problems. I'm just going to go for some raids. And you can always find yourself losing some villages on this hunt. Now, easy way to play around that is just send the heroes back home. Allow the Centaurs to get the damage on the front, and allow the heroes to defend any sort of raids early while you're starting to get your other things out. As we do see a bolt. Very standard bolt there onto the Murmillo heroes, as the Centaur going to be retreating away. And we'll see how things are going to go here, as Matreiuss trying to micro this one here. He's looking like he's a little bit underpopulated, as he's going to have to retreat back. Does turn around and snipe down some of those Promethean offsprings there as well, as he's looking to move up onto this position. A couple of low HP citizens, not low HP citizens, but naked citizens on that gold mine over there. I like the idea from Jin Seon, but he does need to get himself a mana up on that position fairly soon to defend against any sort of incoming Centaur raids. There's another Centaur joining the fight over here, going to get some good damage done. Jin Seon not paying attention over here. He's already up to 70 population though, as Matreiuss is only at 37 population, ladies and gentlemen. He is currently sitting inside of his base. He can't move up onto this giraffe just yet. There is an Oracle on this position. I'm not sure if he quite sees anything there, though. He doesn't know that there's Hunt there. So a little bit unlucky there for Matreiuss, not going over there and taking the risk. But obviously playing around that risk is obviously very, very important for Matreiuss to deal with, as more Centaur going to be coming out. We do see that Matreiuss is deciding to go for double stables here, not making any hoplite in this game thus far. An interesting decision. Normally we see Zeus players going for the hoplites here in this matchup, and specifically another Zeus player is really, really strong in Skadi. He says he hates Hippocon in this matchup. In fact, he won't even build them. He just goes mass hoplites. So a very, very different style coming through here for Matreiuss, as the term up getting taken down there. Jin Seon here, he's got a decent amount of resources. He's ready to get himself a second town center up very, very shortly. Personally, in my opinion, this matchup, you don't really want to go for a second town center against the Centaurs, as we do see the unit's going to spot this location nonetheless. You don't really want to go for a second town center here. Instead, it's better to get that heroic age out, get that chaos out, or get those Stymphalian bursts, those dryads out, and try and rush that one town center mythic age to potentially get a gold staff here. Very, very tough for the Zeus player to stop those sorts of attacks. However, it is a lot simpler to play the second town center here as Oranos, especially when you're playing against a really, really strong raider in Matreiuss, who's running around here getting a lot of good damage on sniping units nicely here. He's really controlling his army well, catching Jin Seon out of position beautifully here, sniping maybe another Murmillo, not quite. He's going to have to retreat away from here for the time being, as he does decide to do so. Unfortunately there, Matreiuss does task his entire army to move as one. You kind of want to, he does get away from it, no problems there, but you do want to be ensuring that your Centaur aren't moving with the rest of your army, because you can end up losing those if you manage to click that. As farms coming up in the main base, you do see the Centaur going to be searching around yet again. Jin Seon Still no second town center up here, as a couple of units getting sniped down. I love this play. This is exactly what you want to be doing with your center, especially when the Oranos player builds their military buildings outside of their main base, sniping the units that are popping out of here. Beautiful play there from Matreiuss, taking a huge advantage with those centaur kills, as the Murmillo coming around here, trying to find some stuff here, but beautiful play thus far from Matreiuss. As Matreiuss here, 87 population, looking for raids onto this location. Really got to be careful taking these fights here. Those Hippocon might seem really strong, but there's Promethean here. There's a couple of Murmillo here as well. The Centaur doing some nice distraction, but more Centaur coming over here to deal with those Murmillo will mean the Terminus Spammage of Jin Seon getting taken out. Beautiful marker yet again there from Matreiuss, keeping that 18 HP Centaur alive. And well, as the Terma going to be retreating away, we do see the Promethean Offspring getting taken out there, as well as the Odysseus is in, getting some good damage. And now we see the Murmillo coming through here, and the fight now starting to make sense as Matreiuss is distracted all those Murmillo heroes over to the other side of the map. Knowing that fact, he's able to take this fight nicely with his Hippocon retreating back after the fight is done. Continuing to pump things out, as we see on this position here. Cheeky little raids coming through. Hero Citizen are in on this position though, and they will, well, the normal Citizen managed to shank that 12 HP center down, as is Jin Seon opting for that town center. Not just yet. Farms coming up in the main base, making it, that's a very, very dubious farm placement. I would have liked it to be right next to the tower. You don't need to put him next to the town center, next to manor, next to tower. Any of those positions is completely fine. But anywhere else is a thing. As the center searching around, looking for something to do. We do have the Matreiuss Hippocon targeting down some Terma here as well. And we'll see how things are going to be going as the Murmillo starting to push forward. We will be seeing Matreiuss still searching around. He's found himself a decent position. The question is, where next for Matreiuss? Because the hardest part here for Matreiuss next is second gold mine. So he needs to move up onto this position. He needs to get this nice and well defended. He's pushed Jin Seon on the back foot. He's up to full population, so he's not going to get gold staffed. But the question is, does he get the town center now, or does he get himself upgrades or next age or anything else? And what does Jin Seon do to continue trying to put pressure in this game? Jin Seon going for a second town center here is this kind of means that maybe Matreiuss needs to get his own second town center himself. Alternatively, he can just rush Mythic Age and potentially go for his own fast Hera here. He's got his farms set up in his main base. If he goes for a fast Hera, any sort of army mass that comes through here from Jin Seon, he's got himself a Ceasefire as well to help him get there. That's going to get absolutely annihilated. So there is a world where this game here could be won by some very, very nice decision-making here from Matreiuss. We'll see if he's going to work that one out, or if he's just going to go for the safer, fast second town center play. As the army of Jin Seon starting to push forward. Walls are up. The Centaur have sort of stopped getting their value here for the time being. As, I mean, you really need to start thinking about maybe some hoplites here as well. To enter into this army of Matreiuss, because look at the army here of Jin Seon. Those Murmillo heroes, they're the tough ones to kill. That's what's hard for this army to kill. We are seeing some Toxoides coming out, which gives those Terma a little bit of a target in this game. And we'll see how it goes, as we do have the archery range up. Walls not quite yet finished here. Matreiuss's villager a little bit standing idly by there. It is sitting idle, but for some reason hasn't decided to auto work on the walls there. As you see, a third town center now coming up for Jin Seon as well. As it looks to me, I'm not sure. Matreiuss is now getting a town center. I would have liked to see the forward town center get grabbed here from Matreiuss, especially with him controlling this position. He's also got the potential of utilizing Ceasefire if he needs to, as he's pushing forward. We're seeing some Catapulties coming out here. I like that addition to this army of Jin Seon, because they are so obscenely strong against the Hippocon, as we see a bit of a shockwave there, opening up the heroes to get onto those Centaur on the back. But it looks like Matreiuss's army gets massacred there on the front, and Matreiuss falling victim to Oranos game plan number 69,991, which is, well, don't fight the Oranos if you don't have to. Generally speaking, is the game plan in this matchup. Always fight the Oranos on your terms, not on theirs. And he tried to, but didn't quite work out for him there. Retreating back, he does still have Ceasefire, so he can utilize that, potentially get himself that third town center up if he so chooses. And we'll see how things are going to motor along here as Jin Seon, 10 villagers on food, 10 citizens. That's like having 30 villagers on food at this point in the game. Absolutely bonkers amount of food income coming for him in the classical age here. He's going to be pumping citizen out. He's going to be looking to go to the heroic age really, really soon. And we finally see Matreiuss clicking Ceasefire. Over all the games I've seen Matreiuss play, every single game, he is really, really good raider. He's a great macro player. He's got great multitasking. He's got a really good late game. He's got a fantastic early game. He's got a great aggressive gameplay, great game style. The one hole, if I could poke any hole in Matreiuss's gameplay, it's his Ceasefire usage. This is the one. He's always using this late. He doesn't need to fight. He could sit this Ceasefire when he was sitting at 90 population, go up to 130 population, and then fight. Would have been in a much, much better position. Instead, Ceasefiring at 70 population. Now he only goes up to 100 population or 110 population. And that's going to allow Jin Seon to push in here and have a bit of an advantage moving forward as Matreiuss pulling back, realizes, oh, catapulties are out. He needs hoplites now and not later. As the army pushes through. Good positioning here from the Toxotes. The Terma trying to push forward. Great choke point, though, here from Matreiuss. He's playing around this this pressure really, really nicely here. And we'll see how it's going to go as villagers getting taken out. The Terma getting some good damage done, sniping down those Toxotes beautifully here. If we move into Jin Seon's perspective here, he's got himself 6 catapulties here. Once the catapulties are down, the Hippocon are going to be able to mow through these Terma. And Jin Seon, he's not really playing into the army quality here of his army. Those speedy Terma, nice and close in the fight. They're going to be getting picked off as the units pop out here nicely. But Jin Seon, 120 population. Matreiuss has dropped down to 84 population here in this game. As he's trying to desperately hold on here. Villagers shanking away nicely. The catapulties are really, really similar to the Norse throwing axemen in that they're really, really good against their counter unit, but against villagers, against everything else, they don't do a whole lot. And Matreiuss manages to hold here for the time being. But Jin Seon's done the damage. He's done the dash. He's now full villagers, or basically full villagers here. Maybe a couple more to come through. He's going to pop back up. He's going to be able to continue putting this pressure on. I wouldn't mind seeing Jin Seon moving forward and trying to put some buildings down onto this town center and putting a stop to that. Any sort of potential of that coming through. Just one citizen. I think that Oranos players, they want to get all that economy as best as they can, but just one citizen moving forward, getting a little bit of side building action before going back onto some forward resources here. It's always a good idea. As Matreiuss holds, he's back up to full population, and Jin Seon, he's back up to 144 population. He's stopped building those Terma en masse, but now he's got to contend with the hoplites coming out in this game here for Matreiuss as Jin Seon pushing forward here with his army. Matreiuss going to be searching around for something to do with his army, but what he really wants is this town center as fast as he possibly can. Sitting at 18 villages on food, effectively building nothing but food-based units here. He needs more farms, and he needs more farms like yesterday, as he's got 1,000 wood in the bank. He is sending some villagers up here to grab this town center, and we'll see how it's going to go as Jin Seon just about to be heading towards the heroic age here. He's got himself some decent upgrades. They wouldn't mind seeing like shaft mine coming through here as the fight continues in the center of the map. Good fight here for, I guess, for Jin Seon. Good for Matreiuss. Both players are kind of throwing away units here. Jin Seon going to be retreating away for the time being, but you have to pay credit where credit's due. After all is said and done, it looks like Matreiuss has stabilized And he's going to be in a good position moving forward in this game. Townsend are coming up for Matreiuss. He's got his walls set up. And this is what makes Matreiuss also really, really good. He's got the centaurs. Yeah, he's got to do all the micro, but he still manages to get his base nice and well defended here. As the town center comes up, we get the archery ranges. Military academy is coming down on this position as well. Army going to be retreating away. We do see the Hippocon searching for a little raid up the top here. Jin Seon does have a ton of villagers on this gold mine. No mana close at all, as the Hippocon going to get just a little bit of a raid to come in, but good reaction here from Jin Seon as Matreiuss starting to get a little bit of damage. And we'll see if he even gets a villager kill. There is a possibility of a shockwave to come through here for the citizen to retreat away. Jin Seon does opt to do that as the army comes through here onto this position as well. As Matreiuss just about to be able to click up to that next stage as well. 24 villagers on the food as he's searching around, trying to harass. We do see the catapults come back and absolutely murder all of Matreiuss's Hippocon there. He doesn't pay attention and they all fall there. That's a huge loss for Matreiuss, who was just about to be able to click up to the heroic age. Instead, he has to rebuild all that population. He's either going to have to stop that population from being rebuilt and go heroic age. He doesn't have an armory up here, so he can't click up just yet, but he needs to rebuild all of those units that he just lost. And the gold mines are exposed. He doesn't have the walls set up just yet. He should be throwing up walls up on this position here, over here, walls here. There are some hyenas here, so potentially maybe even a wall over on this position. Getting the gold mine secured over here. We do see the raiding cavalry coming back onto this position here as well, as Jin Seon has hit the mythic age. He's getting himself fortified town centers. He's going to be able to get himself up a market really, really soon here. And we'll see how it's all going to happen, as the Odysseus Jason doing everything that they can to hold on to this position. And Matreiuss, he is up and he is through Apollo. I love the Apollo pick, much better than Dionysus in this game, in this matchup as well. Very rarely do we see Dionysus having a lot of impact in this matchup. So Apollo going to come through. That's going to be a very, very difficult thing for Jin Seon to deal with if this game lasts another 10 minutes or so. As Jin Seon here, fortified town centers is up. Corner of the map, catapulties chasing these Hippocon around. The Hippocon do have spirited charge here as well, trying to make that work, to make those raids come in a little bit more brutally. Those catapulties, they can't chase the Hippocon around easily at all, and that's a lot of population being traded here. 10 population catapulties for 6 population Hippocon. Nice play from Matreiuss to make that distraction work here, as Jin Seon still not able to advance to the next age. Matreiuss distracting nicely with his army over here, waiting on his heroic age and potentially whatever comes from that. He can definitely turn around and potentially take this fight here if he so chooses, as he's dragging the army of Jin Seon back in underneath the town center to get a favorable fight. Jin Seon decides to retreat back here as well. And we'll see how it's all going to go, as the centaur coming in can get some raids onto this location as well. Nicely here. Jin Seon still not clicking up to that mythic age. This is surprising. I imagine Matreiuss is maybe going to be able to do the same. But when we see our underworld passage coming in, pushing off of this gold mine over here, but is that going to be enough here? This is not the usage that we're used to seeing in this matchup. Generally, you use it to pick off a town center in the late game for basically a comeback sort of aspect or something like that. Is now Jin Seon, he's a screen length away from pushing in here and dealing with the gold of Matreiuss, as we see the centaur trying to defend here as best as he can. The archers, they're not as good as those toxotes here, and they're really close. They're not utilizing their advantage, which is the 20 range. So the toxotes are going to be able to get a lot more damage done than those archers are, and it does look like he will be able to survive here, as the underworld passage on the top of the map going to be getting taken down. Matreiuss at 125 population. Jin Seon still, he's dropped down to 130 population here, as the Matreiuss Zeus army is pushed through onto this position. Now we see some raids onto the front gold mine here, as Jin Seon, he is in a very, very difficult position right now, as Matreiuss is running him off the map gold-wise. Basically, all Jin Seon needs to do, though, is throw down a fortress, or palace, I should say, on this position, and he should be able to hold here and continue along, as we see Matreiuss stealing the Dryad tree, the Hesperids tree, away from here. Will he get it out? And he does manage to get those out. More going to be coming out very, very quickly here. As Matreiuss has got the wall set up over here, he will be able to have this gold mine as well for himself, unless Jin Seon moves over there and deals with that. As his gold mine nice and secured here, as the army pushing through, Dryads coming through is a huge, huge boost for Matreiuss. Is that going to get taken back at any point here by Jin Seon? It doesn't look like it is, as the Matreiuss heroes come through, going to be able to take out the Dryads of Jin Seon nicely in this fight, as well as we see potentially a palace coming out finally for Jin Seon to secure this gold mine. We'll see if that's going to actually happen. It looks like Matreiuss cannot break through here just yet. The Arcus are out, and now Matreiuss, he probably can win these fights if he gets the right unit composition out. But the better, more solid play for Zeus here, generally speaking, is just go Mythic Age. Why? Get Heliopolis. Those Arcus do nothing to the Heliopolis, and you can effectively find wins very, very simply in the Mythic Age here against the Oranos. But he's decided to take these fights. The Arcus getting a decent amount of damage. Great micro there from Matreiuss, pulling back the targeted, the focus-fired Odysseus there, as the population is still sitting at 145 for Matreiuss, but Jin Seon here, he's sitting at 140. He's about to start making destroys. His economy is still creeping up. He has a trade route started as well, so his economy is going to continue pushing into the stratosphere here, whereas Matreiuss hasn't started his own trade route. He's still only at 145 population because he doesn't have himself the fortified town centers just yet. But he is winning this fight, and he is pushing through nicely. Even if he pushes off this gold mine, though, there will be a trade route for Jin Seon, so he's not going to be getting pushed off of this out of this game to a gold staff at any point here. As the Matreiuss army with the Manticore included, pushing in here nicely. This is such a strong unit, a great addition to the fight here for the army for Matreiuss. Utilizing it nicely. We do see the hero Arcus coming in, going to start getting some damage done onto those Manticore, as Matreiuss going to be retreating back. Jin Seon now full population. He's going to be able to go to the Mythic Age. Question is, what god does he go in this situation? I think the natural inclination for an Oranos player is to go for Hecate here, go for the Tartarian Gate. But I think in this position, with Jin Seon having his trade route set up, having his economy fully sorted, being in a fairly locked 3 town center apiece, not going to be able to get a gold staff, I think that Helios here would be a more solid play. But we are seeing the Hecate coming out. Hecate isn't all bad. Hecate does give access to the Lamperti, which does give an answer to the Colossus, which might be a problem for Jin Seon in the near future here. As Matreiuss on the other side here, he does have the market in a classic Matreiuss position here. In this position, he could be in this corner, getting him a lot more gold for the trade route. Obviously, that's the side of the trade route, so it doesn't matter, but Matreiuss has thrown that market down next to the gold mine anyways. He wanted to get the villager back to work instead of in a nice position as he pulls back. And I think Matreiuss is fairly aware right now that he needs to get to the Mythic Age. And he is pumping units still, but he's not pumping them as fast as he possibly could here, as he is now able to advance, and he clicks Hera. He doesn't go for the Hephaestus. He clicks Hera here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to slow down any sort of Mythic Age push that comes with the Hecate, but there's not going to be a good answer for the Tartarian Gate. So that's going to be getting a lot more damage than it otherwise should be getting, as we do see a nice raid onto this location, as well as the gold mine getting targeted down here. We'll see if Jin Seon can get over there nice and fast and start dealing with this. I wouldn't mind seeing some of those sky passages getting dropped either. Let's look at Jin Seon. He's got a full trade route started. He's got 0 villagers on gold. He is moving up onto this gold mine, though. But look at the resources. He is going to be able to get himself champion infantry, champion archers, every single armory upgrade under the sun. He's in a great position right now to continue in this game. As Hecate does come through, we do see the Tartarian Gate onto the front here, as Jin Seon going to be retreating away. What he can do is move over onto this gold mine while this Tartarian Gate is going, but he needs to continue fighting here. We see the hoplites targeting down that Tartarian Gate. They will be able to kill this one off very, very fast. There is a Masons through. Hoplites trying to target this down here, doing what they can, as the Tartarian Gate ends up falling, and the game is going to be able to continue here with a lightning storm. Will kill off these archers, but remember what we were seeing here with Jin Seon. Plenty of resources to rebuild this army once the lightning storm comes in. Now, what Matreiuss can do here is he could send those hoplites on a journey up to this top town center. There's no palace here. There's no good defenses on this town center. He can lightning storm the army here, as we said. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful spread here from Jin Seon, but the lightning storm still going to get some good damage done nonetheless, as all the units will be getting taken out. The hoplite's going to push forward. Now Jin Seon, he's on the back foot for a little bit here, but you can see his population is going to climb back up to 160 basically instantly. Champion upgrades are already in for Jin Seon. His pressure is going to be huge as these Arcus heroes getting taken out, and Matreiuss at this point, he needs to start a trade route. He's got this gold mine in the center of the map. He's got this gold mine over here. He's got this gold mine here, but he needs that trade route to help his economy really pick up here after he is kind of settled. He doesn't need to win the game just yet. There's no like lose condition from just hanging around in the game. So we'll see what he's going to go for. He can send his hoplites on a mission to kill off this town center, like we said as well. Either option is decent, but it's always a little bit risky. As you do see, the Medusa is out. That can snipe down those those Stymphalian birds there nicely, or potentially snipe down a Lampede. As the hoplite speed coming through, we do see Jin Seon trying to throw up some military buildings to surround the town center. Not quite fast enough to make that work here, as the hoplites going to attempt to tear this one down, but this might be a little bit too overzealous. Jin Seon, he doesn't have architects though. He is researching it, so this town center, I'm not sure it's going to be going down here, ladies and gentlemen, as the Arcus come through. The hoplite's going to be retreating away, and basically what Matreiuss is doing here with this is he's just distracting, and what he needs to do is he needs to stop making Arcus. He needs to stop he can get himself infantry upgrades, that's fine, but he needs to get himself a fortress to make Heliopolis here. Why? Look at the army that Jin Seon's got. It's mostly Arcus, mostly Dryad, mostly Pierce units. The Dryads are going to get absolutely annihilated by the heroes. The Arcus don't do all too much. A fortress here, and even 1 or 2 Heliopolis is going to make it incredibly tough for Jin Seon to continue in this game. But what Jin Seon does have going for him at the moment is he's nearly full iron compared to Matreiuss, who's got no upgrades. Well, not no upgrades, but very, very minimal armory upgrades. So we'll see if he's going to be able to figure this one out and distract for long enough to allow himself to get his armory upgrades through, especially considering he's gone through Hera here, as the hoplites are yet again going to be going on a little bit of a mission here around the bottom of this position. We do see a palace now attempting to come up here to deny any sort of these hoplite raids here. The hoplites can tear down this military barracks fairly quickly here, as the fighting continuing over here. Great micro yet again from Matreiuss. One big other thing that Matreiuss could do in this late game here, not even late game, early late game, is utilize the Bellerophon to raid villages. You might not think about it very much, but Bellerophon jump does 100 damage. The citizens have got 30% hack armor, so it's doing 70 damage per shot to a citizen. Then you have the 26 damage per second. That's doing something like 20 damage per second there. So you're picking off that villager in one shot, and then maybe 3 more seconds or 4 more seconds passes and the citizen falls. So you can pick up a lot of units there with the Bellerophon. Great micro here from Matreiuss. The only real way to deal with the Bellerophon is either hope that the Bellerophon stops moving, or snare the Bellerophon utilizing a Contarius or a Murmillo or something like that and target it in that moment. As we do see Matreiuss pulling back, he does have Apollo and he is getting himself Temple of Healing. This is such a big advantage for the Bellerophon over basically every other one of the Greek civs. If you utilize this, it's really, really important, because it means that instead of spending 400 gold on the Bellerophon, as we see him jumping back and he needs to keep this one alive, instead of spending the 400 gold to get this one back up, you just send him back, heal him back up. He gets back up to full HP really, really fast. You don't spend 400 gold. You get him back into the fight nice and fast. You can put the temple on the front as well. Matreiuss is coming back over onto this temple here. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing the temple just on the front. No problems. But Matreiuss still pushing forward. And we are now seeing the donkey caravans starting to get their trade route going here, ladies and gentlemen. As The Arcus pushing forward. We do see the Stymphalian Birds getting some good damage done here as the Odysseus are going to be doing their dash here as well. We see some more palaces coming in onto this position here as Jin Seon is trying to break through here, trying to find some sort of a way onto this town center at this point. But I mean, the problem here for Jin Seon is the longer this game goes on, the closer Matreiuss gets to getting an army that is not going to be killable for him, regardless of how much economy he's got. And this is Jin Seon's problem. Look at the upgrades: 2,000 food, 3,000 gold. He needs a Titan out. He needs something going for himself. Maybe a wonder here wouldn't be an awful idea. I don't know. He's just got so many resources, but doesn't. Maybe he could also just delete some citizens or something. Get rid of some villages. If he's full population, this is the same thing with Norse. This is the same thing with Greek. This is the same thing with Egyptian. Once you're full population, full upgraded army, you don't need to have 100 population economy. Once you're full upgraded army, you can tone that back. You go down to as little as 60 population here sometimes with civilizations like Norse. Maybe even with Atlantean, you can go down to like 20 donkey caravans, like 20 population, 40 population, 50 population economic units as well, and still make that work. So this is a bit of a mistake here from Jin Seon, as now we see the terrifying presence that is the Heliopolis coming out here, as now Jin Seon needs to micro his Arcus to take out units not named Heliopolis, and Matreiuss doesn't really need to do anything micro-wise. He just needs to ensure the Toxotes are attacking the closest unit, which is normally going to be the melee dealing champion Mermillo. So he's going to take those out really, really nicely. As we see Jin Seon's town center under attack here as well, trying to get through here, trying to make it work. There's more units popping out onto this position, going after the Sky Passage here as well. That one's going to be falling. And we'll see how things are going to work as we see. Now we see the Bellerophon raise. This is what I was talking about. Bellerophon comes in and picks off the system. But little does Matreiuss know, at this point, this actually helps Jin Seon more than it hinders Jin Seon, because he doesn't need those villages. He does not need those villages in the slightest. He actually wants to lose them, but has not quite worked that out, as his army still fighting nicely here. He's got decent economy here to continue pumping out. Matreiuss needs to retreat back ever so slightly here. Another thing that you could start doing here if your name's Jin Seon is more villages on wood, putting towers down onto these positions, more palaces down. All those options are good. We see a whole bunch of idle units over here going to be breaking through this wall, going to be going for a little bit of a raid onto this gold. Matreiuss is not prepared for this. He's trying to push through here. The weakness, I guess, of this kind of hoplite army is if you can't actually push with it, it doesn't have mobility. It doesn't have mobility at all, as the Mermillo breaking through in onto this position. Matreiuss notices it. He's going to try and pull his villagers back. We'll see if Jin Seon is going to notice this. He does notice the villagers there. Going to immediately start chopping those down. One thing that's really hindering Matreiuss here is the 58 gold per caravan compared to Jin Seon, who's getting 94 gold per caravan. Jin Seon started the gold trade route much, much earlier, but take a look at this gold from trade. It's a huge, huge difference, and it's only going to get bigger the longer this game goes on, with that market not getting fixed up. As the villagers retreating up here, they're going to look to get onto this gold mine, and we'll see how things go. As the villagers going to shank down this gate here, as Matreiuss wants to get in onto this position, get this side build going there. Jin Seon hasn't quite noticed that that's happening just yet. And we'll see if he's going to get up there and deal with that one or not, as he is pulling his units back up here. Matreiuss at this point, he's trading really, really well on this front thus far, as more Mermillo are coming in. I'm surprised that Matreiuss is not building Hypaspis here. Look at all of the Mermillo. Hypaspis are the counter to Mermillo. As the villagers break through here, they will be able to get some sort of a side build, but there's no resources in the bank here for Matreiuss, as Jin Seon's army just comes through and melts Matreiuss's Heliopolis Toxotes champion hoplite army here. Matreiuss is almost up to fully upgraded units as well, but this is still a lot to deal with as the Murmillo breaking through. There's so much population here for Jin Seon. He's now 11 citizen, 8. What's that? And times that by 3. You're looking at something like 60 citizen plus the probably 20 llama caravans. Jin Seon at 80 villages, so he's probably found himself a nice sweet spot, especially when he's building dryads as well, which kind of pushes his effective population up to 175 because these dryads are, while they are 0 pop cost unit, they are basically worth 3 population in terms of a myth unit. They're kind of similar to a classical age myth unit, so to speak. As he's continuing to push in here. We do see the walls up onto the trade route. This is going to be really, really bad for Jin Seon. A great move here from Matreiuss as Jin Seon hasn't noticed just yet. We see the Bellerophon distracting all across the map there. Another, well, a fortress here is still available for Matreiuss here to produce those Heliopolis, but he needs to be making, I still don't understand the continual production of those hoplites. It's kind of one of the mistakes here of playing with auto queues, so to speak, is that while you do need to be playing with auto queue, you can't, to allow yourself as much attention to do everything as possible, you got to be refocusing the auto queue onto the units you need now or in the future. Otherwise, things get a little bit challenging for you as the village is getting cleaned up on this goal by Matreiuss, down to 105 population. The walls are up. The market is deleted. Where is Jin Seon rebuilding his market? He doesn't have it. He's down to 0 gold for the time being. He can sell wood. He can sell food. Is there a market going up anywhere here? I don't see it. Is there a market down the bottom? No market. The llama caravans are sitting idly by over there as he has to work that one out. As there's the market there. As one other mistake here that I see a lot of top players doing is when their market gets killed, you've got to send your llama caravans over to wherever you're building the market, because they don't get more gold by clicking onto this town center. They have to traverse back over there before they start their trade route again. But Jin Seon, he still hasn't clicked that up. Now he's moving with those llama caravans, and they're going to take a little bit longer to start, and this is going to give Matreiuss a bit of an advantage moving forward here. As we'll see how it's all going to go. As the fire siphon pushing forward, sky passage on the front here for Jin Seon, as he's going to be breaking through the fortress here. Matreiuss, he's still got his trade route set up. This is not Matreiuss. He's still got his trade route set up. How many caravans does he actually have here is the big question. He's got himself 15. So he needs around 20, and he needs the market in the corner. That's the big problem here for Matreiuss, and why he's kind of not able to continue producing as best as he can. He's got 22 on food, 27 on wood, so probably not even at 80 villages here either. In a bit of a tough position where that's concerned. Is he still building villages? He is trying to build villages at least out of his hometown center, stopping that there as the Odysseus coming back in. And Matreiuss pulls back. He still has the gold in the corner that he could go onto, as we are seeing a palace on this position getting torn down, trying to break through this palace over here, causing some problems. But Jin Seon, he's on a mission. He's going to be looking for some sort of a raid here onto villages on the farms, onto the trade route. Anywhere would be good here for Jin Seon to get more damage done to Matreiuss' economy, because he is definitely struggling on the economy here in this game. As we see the citizen getting sniped down. Nice play here from Matreiuss getting in there, but now the army is through here for Jin Seon to defend. We see a nice mana snipe. That's going to slow Jin Seon down a little bit if some sort of a fight can happen, as apparently some hero units getting converted onto this location here, but looks like Matreiuss is going to be able to win this fight fairly easily. Citizens are jumping around here as well. They can sneak onto different positions. So we do see a marker coming up into this corner, but Jin Seon sees that one. It's not going to be able to come up just yet, as Matreiuss' market just does not get up in the corner. Unlucky there, as now Jin Seon can come over and snipe down this market here. And Matreiuss needs to get over there and defend that. Lots of idle military here for Matreiuss. He can come over and defend this very, very easily, but he is a little bit too slow on that one, as he is. I mean, this happens to everyone in the late game. When you're playing for 40 minutes, your concentration can lapse very, very easily. Matreiuss at 200 favor as well. 6 idle villages basically here on the temple. Hate to see it. There's not really a good myth unit here for Matreiuss to be building either. Definitely does not need that favor at this point. As the Murmillo do get pushed back, the army on the front needs to retreat back here. And the same thing here for Matreiuss. When you get those idle donkey caravans, you can just click onto the idle banner and send them over to the corner straight away. You don't need to wait for the market to start. And then once they hit that, you can right click on the market, right click on the town center, and you start that process much faster than otherwise. As now the hoplites breaking through, going to try and take out the Murmillo and everything else here, but not quite able to. Looks like Matreiuss is back up to 160 population. He is trying to hold on. We see palaces coming up here for Jin Seon. Both players have decided in this one, well, mostly Jin Seon. He's been the only player with economy this entire game, but Jin Seon deciding not to go for a Titan in this game thus far. A very interesting decision as the army of Jin Seon pushing through. He's still got the 60 population of villages there in terms of gathering economy. Plus, he's got some forward base citizen here making a sky passage. Going to allow him to have a forward, basically no defender's advantage here for Matreiuss, as his sky passages will come up, all the units will pop out, and they'll immediately be pushing in onto this location. I like that play here from Jin Seon, and then he can start going into palaces and everything else after this, as Matreiuss is going to attempt to continue to defend here. He's got some good gold income. He's got himself 140 population, but no more Heliopolis here. Is he still fighting down armory upgrades? Yes, he is. This is really the big difference maker in this game, is that Matreiuss has not been able to get himself his armory upgrades here at all. It's the fire side who's going to be taking down the fortified town center. If that goes down, Matreiuss is still going to be able to continue fighting if he wants, but he's going to be in a very difficult position to close this game out. As the hoplites try and break through here, trying to take out the fire side from the town center going down. There's no masons, there's no architects. The town center does end up falling there as the villagers are moving up to potentially come over onto this gold mine. And Jin Seon is still pumping army through. He's got very low resources though now, so this is where things can go wrong for Jin Seon, because if he can't keep up his 160 population, then Matreiuss is going to be able to sit on 140 population and get himself his upgrades. But instead of sticking it out here, Matreiuss decides to tap out in that moment, feeling that he was so far behind, when in actuality, I'm pretty sure things were about to go downhill for Jin Seon. Even though he loses the town center, it's not over until it's over when you're playing Zeus against Oranos, and Matreiuss taps out. It's a shame to see it. I definitely think that this game going on for a little bit longer, Matreiuss would have found himself potentially pushing Jin Seon down in the population here. He is sitting 160 population. There's no units here at the moment sitting at full at 99%, maybe one fire siphon here. So honestly, Matreiuss here, I mean, I guess the problem is on this position. He doesn't have a whole lot of military buildings producing, but I definitely think he would have been able to fight back here a little bit more. Well, good win here for Jin Seon, taking out Matreiuss. Matreiuss is Zeus, a pleasure to watch, but not able to get the dub here in this one. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.